are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard, and skincare alchemy in the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire here at Plus One is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but the most fun way is sitting down with those creators to play those games. It's exactly what we're doing today as we dive into part 2 of our exploration of Tomb of 1,000 Doors, which is funding right now over on Kickstarter. You can go to ttrpg.link/1000doors or 1000 doors KS. It's also linked down in the description below if you're watching this later. We've got our crew back together again, along with the creator of this game, the project manager we were just chatting beforehand, who has made my life on this very successful project very easy. Matt, why don't you tell people who they are, what you do, and just give us the elevator pitch for Tomb of 1,000 Doors.
Yeah, so my name's Matt Morris, run Manadon Tabletop Games, kind of specialize in Mouse Ritter third-party content, adventures, supplements, zines. I'm a big part of the Mouse Ritter third-party community. We've had the opportunity over the last 2 years to gather together a team of over 40 different creators to build a mega dungeon. And that is what we are kickstarting. It is a premium book, A4 landscape, beautiful artwork by some of the most amazing artists in the game. It comes stock with a ribbon. It is Smith sewn. This thing is, it's going to be an absolutely beautiful relic, but it also, there's Game Master screens, box sets, character sheets, intro pamphlet adventures that we've unlocked. There's a whole Dungeon Synth album that we've unlocked, the cassette tape that we'll do pre-sales of, which inside that cassette tape is a whole nother dungeon. So yeah, there's more to come. So it's exciting. So if you haven't yet, follow that link, ttrpg.link/1000 doors.
Do you want to tease the big announcement that you just talked with some people about earlier today? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Give people a scoop fresh off the top.
Yeah, for sure. So for those who aren't aware, there's another cool Kickstarter coming in February during Zine Quest that also focuses on rodents having adventures in a post-human world. It is called Blister Critters by Sleep Flea and Odd Gob Games. And there's going to be a little crossover. Their game is a 90s cartoon-esque style game where you're playing as critters in a post-human, post-apocalyptic world, adventuring, and it really plays on all sorts of those 90s cartoon tropes, one of which is the crossover episode. And why not have some sort of rift between the worlds where our mice can accidentally stumble into a 90s cartoon, or those 90s cartoon characters can stumble into our dungeon. And so we're still in works on what that's going to look like completely, but yeah, it is coming. So definitely, if you like Tomb of 1,000 Doors, if you like Mouse Ritter, definitely go give some love to the folks over at Blister Critters. You can find them at play.blistercritters.com and go let them know you're going to support their Kickstarter.
Love it. Speaking of great Kickstarters coming up, let's hear from Colin. Colin, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you on, anything you got in the works,
Yeah, thanks. I'm Colin LeSwear. I'm Bioden's Beard RPG. Make games and adventures like Rune Cairn and We Deal in Lead. I've got a Kickstarter coming on Tuesday, the 23rd. So it's a remastered version of Rune Cairn Warden Saga. So it's a Norse fantasy Souls-like TTRPG. It's built for 2 players, but you can play solo or with a larger party. The Kickstarter is going to be great. Lots of cool stuff, alternate covers. So check it out on Tuesday.
We also got some great comments on the actual play we did on the channel a while ago. Folks can go check that out. But somebody was talking about how they really loved the final battle and the way that kind of a bunch of different things that you learn came together in that. But it like that whole adventure was such a great experience of onboarding into a game that very few things do well. But I think Rune Cairn is kind of a master class if you want to look at some of the different tools in there for how to go from I've not played this game before to I feel really comfortable with this game. You do a really great job with that. Folks really enjoyed watching the last session that we got to do. Awesome. And then I don't think that Marc has a Kickstarter coming up, but maybe Marc, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online?
I might have an itch funding coming up soon, but I don't
There
know
we
when.
go.
Hi, I'm Marc Hidem. I also play a lot of games, make games, do all the stuff, hang out. I'm at my last name MAJCHER everywhere. I did just release an Ashcan draft of a game I've had sitting around since for like 8 years. It's been played very good. It just hasn't been written down yet, so that's up on my itch now.
Sweet. Awesome. Love it. I'm super excited to dive in. We kind of covered safety and a bunch of other tools last week, but just a reminder, the campaign is about halfway through. We would love for you to go check things out. We are unlocking things all the time. And if you've enjoyed this, the other teaser will give you that if you, do you have a stretch goal further down in the campaign where you will get to see more of the Tomb of 1,000 Doors streamed here on Plus One EXP in kind of a unique way that we're going to be launching into in 2024 with a few titles. So please, if you want to go help that happen, if you want to see more actual play content of this style of game, it's a great way to help make that happen. In addition to getting some really great stuff, if you can't back a game ever, the best thing you can do is help share it with other people. So just sharing the links, this actual play or the campaign are great ways to engage other people with the game. With that said, we are gonna, I think, dive back in. Matt, I'm going to hand things over to you.
Yeah.
I think everyone is dead except for my character is where we left off. Pretty much.
Yes. Things are not looking good as we jump back in deep in the Tomb of 1,000 Doors in the catacombs of the Bat Cultists, our intrepid group of heroes. Well, let's just say they struggled with some earthworms, but the earthworms are gone. And the party is able to nurse themselves at least somewhat back to health, breaking the third wall just a little bit. In Mouse Ritter, one of the beauties with the HP system is it's not health points, it's hit protection. And so at a short rest, you can replenish that up to D6 plus 1, not exceeding your max. So all of our mice replenish their HP D6 plus 1. Your strength, however, that's going to take a week in safety to get healthy, and
cool.
you're gonna
let's just enter in some deep role play as we move back to safety, so that everybody.
I love it. What you do see is in this room again. There are lots of bat corpses that have been mounted to the walls and on the ceiling, hanging upside down. The earthworms had burrowed in from the bottom. But what you notice as like the battle kind of comes to an end is over in the northeast. Over in the northeast corner, there is a mud encrusted archway. It looks like it's been filled almost with clay, but there is a archway and a doorway leading deeper into these catacombs.
Just so I get a sense of it, what room are we in right now? Just remind me.
We are currently in room number 2, about to jump into room number 3 potentially. Okay. Yeah.
We just look at that clay and think, nah, that's good.
Yeah.
There is like a flayed bat person in the middle of this room also too.
That is correct. Yes. Yeah.
Was there a hole in some plants also too? Well, I'm trying to think what else is in room 2.
Yeah, so room 2 was mounds of limp, discolored flowers. They make the air sweet and thick, and those flowers and vines are coming from the ceiling above, which is where all of these bat corpses are hanging upside down. Also, several dead moths are pinned to the wall as well.
Right.
Does it seem to be like are these like effigies? Does this feel like earthworms were mad that these things could fly above them, and so, or does this seem beyond the capabilities of mere earthworm?
Yeah, this would definitely seem like the earthworms were just travelers coming through, who just stumbled into this empty pocket in the earth at the most inopportune time for your mice.
Yeah.
Something that has thumbs did this.
So So it's, and this is like a chapel
Mhm.
to the cult of like bat cultists,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. So mice who have a reverence towards the winged rodent, and it's a very secretive cult that exists across all of mouse culture. No one ever talks about it though.
Are they like, can we, without disturbing the bodies too much, can we check through like some of their belongings real quick to see if we can
Sure.
find any details about
Yeah.
who these folks were and what may have happened?
Yeah, absolutely. There are like handholds on the wall that have been kind of like dug into the mud that you could use to like climb up and inspect them. And whoever hung these bats here very clearly had a reverence for them, and so didn't take any of their items. And so each of you could roll a d20 if you're each going to inspect a different bat. If you roll a d20, we'll use the tables in the Tomb of a Thousand Doors to randomly generate what they were carrying.
Nice.
19.
I got
19.
a 20. Look at that.
All right. So the mice that Handler or that Marjoram and Colby investigate, they each had 30 pips in a small leather pouch on them. What did Handler, Colin? What did you roll?
So Handler sent Jimson up instead
yep.
because he's the
Yep.
the mouse servant. So I rolled a 5 for that.
Oh, very good. Okay, roll another d6 for me, as there's an unusual treasure that is hanging with this bat.
That's another 5 on a d6.
5. Okay. Oh wow, very cool. There is in its pack is a solid gold pickaxe, and it has the symbol of a mole on it. It takes up 2 item slots, but it also happens to be worth 1,500 pips.
I love how Jimson keeps on ending up with all the super,
Exactly.
super special items, but also Bloodlust Curse.
Yeah,
Bloodthirsty,
spear.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and other than that, the only other things that you can see, each of them would maybe have like a small little pouch of like dried mushrooms of some kind.
I mean, as a mushroom enthusiast,
Yeah.
you know, I'm excited about that. Cool. And you said as we finish this up, you said the door was clay covered, or the archway is covered in clay.
Correct.
You would have to like dig it out.
Yeah, it would take just a little bit of time to dig out, but yeah, you'd have ample time in here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody else just almost got killed, so I mean, I'll take lead on digging through that that door.
I love it. As you dig through, the earth and the hardened clay kind of breaks through after a couple minutes of burrowing, and you kind of shine your torch into the room, and shadows begin to lurch and quiver around 3 very thick pillars that support a long room that, ironically, it itself is torch lit. There are torches alit in this room. The earthen floor is littered with holes. There are holes throughout the floor, and the lids of 6 stone coffins built into the room in 6 different alcoves, all of which have been left shattered and splintered. The walls of this ossuary, you could say, are plastered with hundreds of mouse bones all over the walls and the pillars, and some vague mosaic of mouse bones into the shape of a bat, but not enough to cover the whole wall. Yeah.
Do we, as I look down, do I see any remains in the temple and in the coffins that have been broken open? Do I see remains like down below, and do they look intact or do they look picked over?
These ones look extremely picked over. There are remains. These mouse bones are different than the ones that are on the walls. They've been cleaned and taken very well care of. So whereas the ones on the walls are kind of dirty and have that bonish yellow, these ones that are in the tombs are very like almost like plaster white,
Okay,
like they're
those bones were not taken to
correct.
build whatever was on the, or to make whatever was on the
Correct.
wall.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And you said
Yeah.
holes on the floor. Are they earthworm sized holes, or are they?
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Things have burrowed in and out of this. From the ceiling, there is a kind of eerily white, almost like a bioluminescent, like fungus, kind of just hanging down all throughout, and it drapes the whole room. And there is a stone doorway leading out to some other area at the end of this ossuary.
I did a voice last time, and now I'm trying to remember what was the voice. I think it was vague Southern female tone, but I'm not 100% sure. So any continuity, any people prefer continuity, I apologize.
Fix it post.
Well, it looks like there's been some mice in here, or some worms in here also.
And someone, I mean, if this place is torchlit, unless they're special torches, someone has been in here lighting them and making sure things are.
And is there torch and the overhead light? There's both.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anything that we can block those holes up with, just
what I was
in
thinking too,
case?
Yeah, the shattered lids of the stone sarcophagi. You could definitely cover up some holes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up some of the
interested
pick up some of the clay that we also just kind of dug through and like fill in those holes and cover as many of them as we can.
Yeah. Won't stop digging new ones, but.
Have I ever seen did you say the light is coming from like a bioluminescent mushroomy type thing?
Yeah.
As a fungus forager, have I seen mushroom of this ilk before?
Yes, you would know. Roll a d6 for me.
I got a 6.
Okay. These. This is awesome. I didn't quite expect that. They are magical. This specific breed of magical mushroom of the 8 different breeds that exist in the Tomb of 1,000 Doors, you so happen to discover these are vampire mushrooms, and if you get close to them, they definitely attack you. Did you get close to them?
I mean, I'm just looking. They're on the ceiling, so I'm just looking up at them.
Yeah, you could tell the group.
Yeah, don't climb up near those. They've got quite a bite. Not just the spicy umami if you cook them into anything. Are they useful for anything if you are able to get one without it harming you?
No, this is the one.
This is the one totally useless magical mushroom.
Completely bad. Yeah.
It literally wants to spread its empire by scattering its spores. So it would probably grow its empire in you.
Yeah.
Until you died.
A special gift. For all of us.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Cool. Yeah. Let's let everybody know we don't need to mess with that. I think I'm just gonna call out. Hello.
You hear nothing in response to your hello.
And so there's the one door out, the kind of mudded over entryway was the only other way in here that we've seen, except for the earthworm holes.
Yep.
So if there's anyone around, they would be through that door.
Yeah, I think we make our way across the room towards that door. Covering up as many holes as we can as we move along.
Yeah. As you make your way towards the door, the closer you get to it, you now realize that the door is barred shut.
From this side?
Yeah, from this side.
Now the very nice albino salamander told us a little bit about this place. I don't remember what they said as a player because it's been 2 weeks for me. What can we recall from what they told us about this place?
For sure, that it was a chapel that was of use to the mice in ages past.
Gotcha.
but may had been taken over by like some sort of like heretic cult.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cool.
The closer you get to the door and being able to inspect how it is barred closed, um, it's there is some sort of padlock. Like someone has locked what is ever happening in there. They've locked it in, and you can hear as you get closer to the door. You can hear like almost. It almost sounds like a beautiful, like clerical chanting, in like the unison and like these um, harmonies as folks are singing hymns. It You can pick out probably 3 or 4 different voices, but every once in a while, amidst the voices, as you're close to the door, you can hear like yelps and the potential of like a mousy scream.
And the door is padlocked on this side.
On this side. Yep.
Is it possible to? Do we have tools to pick it, or?
You could probably use your weapons to attempt to pick it. Um, as you kind of look around the doorway as well, there are all the bones that kind of litter the walls. You would notice that like maybe a couple rib bones are sticking out a little bit differently. So you could in theory break one of those and try and pick it with that. Or if you're specifically examining 4 bones to use as a pick, you would see that there are some that protrude out just a little bit further. That they're spaced just ever so slightly that they could be handholds climbing up
Yeah.
into something.
Yeah, there's got to be some other way for folks to get in and out of this place besides the way we came in and that locked door. So maybe scurrying up there would be useful.
Who wants to scurry?
Handler will send Jimson up to take a look.
I love it. I love
it. His pay.
So as Jimson scurries up to the top, about like 8 or 9 inches off the ground, there's a small hole that has been dug in the earth. And as he gets up to that, he can really hear what's going on as things are as sounds are coming through there. And it is not as narrow as the tunnel that you guys had gone through earlier after the big bloated frog. So you could get through this with some ease if you wanted to.
Cool.
Yeah.
How is before we do that? How is the padlock? So we've got a barred door.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically on arms, I'm guessing. Is it like 2 arms?
Yep.
And double
Yeah.
door down the middle.
Yep.
Is the padlock running through? It's not running on the bar. It's running through a lock that connects both the doors, or how is it?
No, the padlock in essence, if the there's like a L bracket arm that has the bar going through it, it's kind of like fastened the bar to the bracket.
To prevent the bar from being lifted.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, let's check out that hole.
Okay.
Lead the way, Jimson.
Yeah. As you guys scurry up there and make your way into the tunnel, you'd be kind of able to like lean out. I think it was Indiana Jones where they lean out over the edge and they can see the whole ceremony taking place, which is that Temple of Doom.
Kalima.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly.
explained that to one of my kids the other day who apparently has not seen Indiana Jones anything and since they were like 6 years old. And so.
That's awesome. Well, it's a very similar scene to that, as there's a frantic group of these cultist mice all kind of like praying and working on something on a stone slab. But in the middle of this room is a stone slab where they are using needles and other sorts of things to poke and prod at something that is laying on this table. And the closer you look at it, you realize it's a mouse. And they are attempting to turn this mouse into a bat by sewing leather wings to its arms and trying to file its little mouse teeth into bat fangs. It doesn't have, like, it's not happy. at the moment because of the pain, but
Mhm.
it doesn't. You're not gathering the idea that this mouse is like an unwilling subject.
Hmm.
Cool. So they could be the chosen one for all we know.
Mm.
hmm
Is this would this be? But this is a cult that generally, if you're not into this, this is a semi-offensive kind of
Yes,
concept to most
Mhm.
mouse kind.
yes, it's very profane.
Um,
Are there any other entrances or exits we can see from this place?
No, it actually this set of catacombs terminus at this room, which is the altar room. What you do see, though, from your vantage point, you can't see what's in them, but there are 3 distinct wings that go off from this room. So there potentially could be a way out, but yeah, from what you're able to see from your vantage point, it does look as though this terminus is here.
I wonder who or what would have locked them in while they're doing this.
So how big is the room?
Yeah, so I would say probably roughly 24 inches in diameter or circumference. I'm sorry.
And mice are about 3 inches tall, aren't we?
Yeah,
Is that-
between 4 and 6 is the
4
way I
and
would
6,
normally
okay.
run it. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's not a very big room.
Is there any sign of the adventuring party that we heard about that came into the dungeon and we're looking for this? We're looking for a chapel, so presumably this chapel.
No, not from this vantage point.
Hmm.
Is everyone pretty focused on the activity around the stone slab?
Yeah, and I'll be there are 4 of these cultists, and then the one that is being operated on.
Okay.
So it's not like a room packed full of mice, but it is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might be able to drop down and investigate further without them spotting us, potentially.
Another question.
Yeah.
The sourced spell that I have, deciliters of water or decaliters of water?
Important.
Ooh. Which one's
totally random question. Is it a 1/10 of a liter, or is
No, it's 10 liters.
It's 10 liters. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think the manuscript I was reading from last time when I said that was before we had edited it to gallons, and I think we said it's somewhere around like 3 gallons.
It's like 2.5. Yeah, it's like 2.5
Yeah.
or 2.7 gallons.
Yeah,
So, which is not a small amount of water.
Especially
for a 24-inch
24
room there.
Yeah, 24 inch. Yeah, that's it's just questions. We're just asking questions.
Yeah, that's not big at all.
It's an easy way to find out if this room empties out anywhere
There's any
else.
other exit, yeah.
And how high up are we off the ground?
About this room has a lower floor. There's a small like staircase going down from that door. So you guys are about 13, 14 inches up.
That's pretty high.
I mean, they're not going anywhere if the door is locked like that. So, it's not a bad plan.
Especially after what we just went through. Yeah, I think I want to cast sourced into the room.
I love it.
Wet and Wild style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So with source, you can create up to some deciliters of water.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah. So is your plan just to flood the whole room?
My plan is to flood the whole room. Yeah, very, very rapidly, to the point where it may be good for us to prepare to move quickly. Also, too.
Cool. Cool. Okay, so I need you to roll. You can choose between 1, 2, or 3 dice. I think to try and fill it. Go
Mhm.
2 or 3. That's up to you.
Okay. And to walk me through the whole process of casting a spell so that
Yeah,
I
for
as the
sure.
player fully understand it.
Yeah, for sure. So in Mouse Ritter, it uses the Goblin Law of Gaming's magic system, and so what you will do is you can choose between 1, 2, or 3 d6s to power your spell. Your spell will either have a bracketed sum or a bracketed dice, or in some cases both. Um, and you will do that effect or that number of effects to whatever you're choosing to do. If you roll a 3, 2, or a 1, the spell doesn't take any usage. All spells come with 3 usage. But if you roll a 4, 5, or a 6, you mark usage, and now you're only able to use as many usage die. But if you roll a 6, the spell still goes off, but it arcanely misfires back at you, and you'll take d6 will damage for each 6 roll.
And that's any of the dice.
Hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do 2.
Cool.
So 2, that's a 5.
Okay, so you'll mark 1 usage on your spell, but 7 deciliters of water um, begin to fill this room. Where did you want this water to originate from? Because you can.
On the far side, like basically wherever they're doing this, like I want it to kind of wash them toward assuming that they are
Yep.
further into the room. I
Yep.
essentially want the water to swell up on that side of the room and then sweep across is the plan.
Yeah, perfect. So as you do, this water begins to like bubble just ethereally out of the ground, and it starts filling. These mice are these cultists are in like a fever of their ritual, so they're not necessarily noticing it at first. But then one of them kind of like looks down as the water's getting about knee high, and starts hitting his friend like yo, what's happening? What's happening? They start freaking out as the water just keeps coming more and more. They back away. They start trying to like grab little items out of the room, and they're freaking out. One of them looks up and sees on the ledge just your 4 little mouse heads kind of like hanging over the edge, and it's like, hey, it's them, and he like is trying to trudge through the water, and you can he tries to like grab some of the bones that are on the walls in here to climb up on this side, but the water's been splashing and lapping against the wall. He slips and falls back in the water. The one mouse that was being operated on stands up on the table, like raises his arms, and you can see these leather flaps where they're like were wings. And he goes, he chants something in some arcane language, and he tries to jump to fly to you, and he belly flops straight in the water as he fails completely. Um, they're frantically trying to get around. The water is now swirling as it's just like so much water in such a tight space. They're having a hard time, but the water is also rising up towards you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What does the party do?
We should get at least out of the way of the water, like even if it's just climbing back outside, as quickly as we can. So
Awesome.
Mhm.
I think
move,
those
move,
wounds are
y'all.
gonna have time.
Back up.
Yeah. So as you back up and scale down the wall back into the ossuary, water now is beginning to like slowly seep out of the hole and
Mhm.
drip down the wall. It's mixing with the mud and plaster that was holding the bones up. So some of the bones are starting to break off as now it's more than just a trickle. Water's filling the room. Um, but it kind of levels out
Mhm.
as water fills that room. I'm not very good at volumetric capacity math on the spot,
The problem
but
is, I think we're gonna fill. I think I probably create enough water that's gonna fill room 3
I think so.
pretty well. Also, so like, I think we'll see Colby basically booking it for through the back corpse room up back to the teacup room 1 where we
Okay, yeah.
yeah I think
Cool.
hoping my mom's club and Jimson follow us.
Yeah, and there is
Yeah, yeah.
that door. There is that door between those rooms, and you could shut that door. And after about like a half hour or so, a little bit of water is like trickling out from underneath the door, but it kind of just like puddles and stops. You don't hear anything beyond.
It's the like when we covered up the wormholes, that probably wasn't watertight, so a lot of it would
Yep,
have
Probably
like
got drained. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then definitely in room 2, there was the large hole in the
The big
corner
hole.
that the earthworms had come up. The water definitely does drain down in there.
Yeah. And I mean, there was the pipe that we came up that was water
Yep.
was running down.
Mhm.
Also, I mean, so the
Yep.
whole area was essentially designed to be drained
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. Now, the likelihood of the cultists and the bat ascendant, um, uh, if they were able to manage to swim through the water to the hole, that is on them. Who would like to make a dexterity save on their behalf? Roll a d20, and I'll let you determine the fate if they drowned in the room or if they were able to make it.
I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
A 3.
Okay.
Sounds
Yeah,
good
you
for
were trying to roll. You were trying to roll under an 8 for them to be alive. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, you after
Merciful.
a few more moments, you kind of hear like pounding on the door, and just like very desperate cries for help.
On the other side of the door from us.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, amidst the cry for help, there's like a cough, like that has some like gurgling of water in it.
I mean, we can always let him in.
Yeah.
I'm not inclined to, but I mean, we could.
Like they may be
I
cultists,
don't
but
really.
they're still
Yeah.
nice.
What's in it for us if we do?
What do you think, Handler?
I think, yeah, I think there's a good point of what's in it for us. So I think I'll Handler will shout through the door. I say, good fellows, are you in need of help there?
There's water. There's oh, yes. I can't swim.
Well, that you're in a bit of a pickle now, aren't you? Well, I tell you what, why don't you help us and we'll help you not drown? How does that sound?
Anything.
I'm gonna move back across the room and kind of like draw my bow.
And
Yeah, I'll get out like on the other side of the door with the hook ready.
Jimson's all like he's got his spear raised.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Licking his lips.
Yeah. I'll open the door and help them out.
Okay. So as you open the door, about probably a knee-high bit of water kind of just like flows in and puddles in this room, as it drains, and there are 2 of the mice survived, and one of them is like kind of like crawling towards you, while the other one is like now hands on its knees, bent over, just like coughing. It is like, who are you? What have you done?
What do you mean?
You ruined the ritual.
ritual.
Oh, you weren't trying to turn him into a fish? Is that our mistake? We thought we'd help you out.
I don't know if you're familiar with an aquabat, but they're pretty impressive.
He gibberishly says something in some different language, and then he's like, you've incurred the necrobats. They oh, and he just like puts his head down, and at this point he just like plops down, and he's just like shaking his head while the other one is like clearly gasping for air, and looks at you and is like, you will be cursed as long as you are here.
Tell us more about the necrobats. The
Uh,
guys hanging from the ceiling.
So then the one that was like sitting down, like he looks up at you, he was like, "You've never heard? Oh, well, they come from a far off land. Um, they're covered in tattoos. They cast spells. They put us to work. We worship them. They come every once in a while, and we always want to be ready to bring them offerings because you don't want to be on their bad side." Um, and then he kind of like looks around. He goes, "Well, you saw the walls were littered with their former disciples."
Doesn't seem like a good type of disciple to be if you might get hung upside down and pinned to a
But the
wall.
but the blessings of flight are something that we aspire for, and the promise of gift of the arcane and riches.
Well, let me ask you a question. How many folks have you seen fly off with them?
He like thinks for a second. He's like, "Well, I personally haven't seen any."
Right. How many folks have you seen them flip upside down and hang from a ceiling totally dead?
He thinks about it. He goes, "I mean, personally, I've seen about 14."
Yeah, I don't know if you know what
That's
it means to
real
be
bad odds.
ratioed, but that's
Yeah.
pretty much what you are describing at this point in time. I mean, it seems far more likely that you are one of the 14 than you are one of the 0.
Hmm.
But that's not what he told me. He told me I would fly amongst the skies and gain vast riches.
Yeah,
Did he tell those other ones that too?
I can only assume. And at this point, he kind of like leans back and he's like, "Oh no, my uncle warned me about this kind of thing." Um, he looks at his friend, and his other friend is now just kind of like motionless on the
yeah.
ground.
It's not a judgment, but it is kind of a personality type, and that's not it's not an aspersion on you. It doesn't make what this man did okay, but it there are some folks who don't necessarily rationally think these things through.
Hmm.
Well, this is a revelation. I'm still very much terrified of the outcome if they find out I no longer believe. But
How would they
um,
know? They'll never know.
well, that could be true.
I mean, if you don't stay here and tell them I don't believe in you anymore, then I mean, you may not have to worry about it at all.
But where would I go? I've given everything to be a bat.
So what it sounds like is that you're a natural follower. Is that what you're
Mhm.
saying?
Of
Looking
the
for some
utmost.
adventure,
Hmm.
opportunity, maybe.
I tell you, my good man, I've always have an open space for followers in my employ. Just ask dear Jimson here.
I would love a chance to attain riches and but yes, anyway, yes, that would be great.
How's this for riches? I've still got that the big old shield, the tin lid, that is really not useful for me. So I'm gonna hand over that big old shield to him and say, "This is an artifact we've recovered from the depths of these catacombs. It will protect you, and if you follow along with us, you can help protect us."
And here's just like 10 pips just to get you started.
Yeah.
He looks at you as like just with great excitement for a new path, and he says, "I won't let you down. I won't let you down."
What was your name?
Um, my my name. Well, I don't remember what they used to call me,
Jimson
but
too.
I think my name
later,
was
man.
once. I think my name was once Basil.
Basil, lovely name.
Um, is the other mouse just died on the floor in front of us?
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome aboard, Basil.
Shame about your friend.
Well, thank you. Where would you like us? Where would you like us to go? What would you like me to do?
Well, I mean that room y'all were doing the ritual in is there any other way out of there, or is that pretty much all she wrote?
Did someone
No.
walk you in there?
Oh no. They've told us that door's been locked for eons. We
Oh,
dug a
okay.
hole into there. No, the only things that we ever kept in there, it was like leather batwing storage room, and that's where we would do our rituals. There was a very nice violin in there that was made out of a grasshopper leg, but yeah, not much more.
Oddly, can y'all hear me? Because my mic was just getting some weird
Can hear you
notifications.
now, yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
I say, Basil, have you seen another group of adventuring mice like us come through here recently?
I would say in the last week or so there was one before we had started our ceremony. We kind of like have a small little bed and breakfast soup kitchen thing where we feed water to travelers out of these wells. But they passed through. They were headed to the north. They had a lead on some great treasure.
Mm.
Hmm.
And everybody, just let that be a reason you never stay at the Bat Cult's hostel right there.
Yeah, one of them had actually really taken to our message, and himself wanted to be a bat. That's what you interrupted. One of them left.
Oh, it was the one with the wings. That was one of the adventuring party.
Yeah, he really. I think his grandma was in the cult, and when we told of the greatness, he jumped back on.
Too bad for him.
Yeah, he wasn't a good swimmer. Though I think the leather impaired it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get pretty heavy once it gets wet.
Yeah.
You said there's another door in here, right? He said there's not another way out.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I guess we can. If they had a lead on some good treasure, we can follow them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys would make your way up to the north out of this room, and this tunnel leads kind of on an upward slope, very gradually. And as you're getting deeper down this tunnel, the tunnel itself opens up to kind of some sunlight. You can actually see some sunlight, like pushing through into view as you actually pop out of the ground. Where you are in relation to the entrance to the Tomb of a Thousand Doors, you have no clue. Very disorienting underground. And what you have come out to is a large kind of like mud depression in the ground that has a very, very clear mudslide flow leading into this area. And there's like random appliances and just like human knickknacks scattered amidst the mud. And on the ground is very clear paw prints kind of bending away from the appliances. And as you turn your head to look, there is a dollhouse, like partially submerged in this mudslide. And the paw prints lead towards the dollhouse.
And as we approach it, superimposed in the air for the audience eye, it says Hilda's Haunted House of Horror.
That is true.
Yeah, let's check it out. Follow those paw prints.
I say, Basil, lead the way there with your shield. And Jimson will be right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So upon entering into this house, the main entrance of the dollhouse is through a small hole that you're able to see. The door to the dollhouse is on the front side that's buried in the mud. So you're entering through a small hole that's been like cracked into the plastic, and it enters into the dollhouse. through the back of a plastic fireplace. It enters into a mostly empty living room with a toy couch, a few small chairs, a wooden television, and at the far end of this room is a staircase heading upwards. And then on either side of this, there is a small doorway leading on either direction.
Is there any trace of where the muddy paw prints might have
Yeah.
gone in here?
Yeah, great question. They went up the stairs, but there is a doorway kind of beneath the stairs. I think on the map, it's over there.
Does it look like the paw prints went directly to the stairs, or did they kind of like
Yeah, no,
up around first?
it looks as though they went directly towards the stairs. There is no disturbance of the ground over towards the door. The only other thing that you notice is there are very clearly spider webs, kind of all throughout.
Cobwebs or like fresh ones?
Somewhere in between. Somewhere in between.
I know what a spider web represents, generally speaking, spiders. I
Mhm.
know what it represents to a human. Are spider webs more of like I'm gonna guess they're more of like an impediment to us, or do we have to worry about them too much beyond
Yeah,
what they represent?
yeah. You would know that like some spiders are like benevolent witches that they can impart knowledge, but other spiders are just very clearly out to grow fat off whatever they can eat.
More so, just are webs like ropes, or are they like string?
I would say like vines.
Vines? Cool.
Yeah. They'd be the mouse equivalent to a human vine.
Are they like sticky hazards for
Yeah,
us?
yeah, definitely sticky. Definitely sticky.
I'm gonna light up another one of my torches.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna start. I'm assuming that fire is just as good on them as it is for human size. I'm just gonna start kind of breaking through some of these strands, just clearing out the living room.
Mhm.
Yeah. So as you start to try and burn the webs, they do burn and they have like a kind of like an acrid smell to them. But after like a couple seconds of burning, the webs kind of you would be almost convinced you thought you saw them glow green for just a second, and for whatever reason, the torch is no longer able to burn through the webbing.
Well, that's not good.
That's yeah. Are there any spider webs blocking the stairs up?
Nope. The spider, the stairway leading up is a easy passage, as is the door out of this room.
Basil, why don't you lead the way on the way upstairs there?
Awesome. So as Basil leads the way upstairs, it dumps out on a second landing that has a doorway on the right and a doorway on the left, and then it also has a staircase that continues to lead up further into the dollhouse.
And do the footprints continue up?
No, the footprints at this point, they go to the doorway to the right.
All right, Basil, how long has it been since those folks passed through? Is it a week?
I would say it's been about a week. Yeah, about a week.
I mean, he probably hasn't been asleep in there for a week, I'd imagine.
Probably not sleeping.
Is the door closed to the?
The door is closed. Yeah, the door is closed.
Is it like a? Is it just a door that pushes open, or?
Just simple hinges.
Yeah, let's take a look cautiously.
Yeah. So as the door creaks open, it is very clearly there's like toy sewing machines, a couple desks, like a little mannequin set up. It's very clearly like a model sewing room. But on the floor of this sewing room are 3 wooden toy soldiers. Each one of them has a wooden sword, just like affixed to their hands. There is some furniture in this room, like I said, the sewing machine and a dressmaker's mannequin. But then on the far side of the room, there is another doorway, and there are muddy footprints leading to said doorway.
So they made it through this room.
Potentially, yes.
The footprints made it through this room.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're just gonna follow the footprints at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you kind of make your way through the room, there are webs hanging down from the ceiling. As you get closer to the toy soldiers, there's definitely webs connecting from the ceiling to the toy soldiers. But you're able to get to the door. The door is closed.
Give a
Is
quick
there anything
listen just to see if there's any
Yeah.
sign of anyone in there.
Yeah, you can hear some small back and forth, just like chit chat about like I can't even remember how many days it's been, and then the other one says back like we've got to make a break for it at some point.
Remind us again why we're following these guys. It's been a little while.
Good treasure.
Treasure.
Basil told us they had a lead on some good treasure.
Mhm. Want to just knock on the door?
Yeah. I just real quick. The toy soldiers. Before you do that.
Yeah.
You mentioned webs attached to them.
Yep.
Is there anything that suggests kind of a I don't know, let's say puppet-esque configuration to like a marionette quality to those strands?
Yeah, it's almost identical to that. Yeah.
Cool. I just put a little fire on there, see if it works or not.
Yeah, the fire does not work, but they don't move.
Then I'm gonna take out my dagger and just give a little swipe over the sword arm of one of them on just whatever connects to the sword arm.
Yeah. Make a strength save for me real quick.
I rolled a 14, which I believe is over my strength.
Yeah. So it doesn't cut through. It is a pretty the tensile strength of this spider web is either naturally amazing or supernaturally charged.
Cool.
The can we, if we can't burn the webs, can we attempt to burn the toy soldiers?
Yeah. Definitely go for it.
If there would, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it.
Awesome. So as you begin to light them on fire, the wood starts to char very quickly as smoke is now beginning to fill the room. But now the webs start to glow and the webs begin to rattle a little bit as these toy soldiers are now like starting to come to some level of sentience.
Now that we've set them on fire.
Yeah, and they have like no desire to like put their fire out. Now you have like flaming
Yeah,
marionettes.
it's so much better for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. I'm gonna move over by the mannequin.
Okay.
The dress mannequin, to be clear. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
we've got a number of automatons in the room.
Yeah.
I'll let everybody else decide what they're doing.
I'm gonna I'll be over by the door to the far door.
I'm gonna get behind Basil with the shield, and Jimson's gonna pull out the his spear and start like looking a bit crazy.
I love it. Okay, let's roll Well, we don't even have to roll initiative because this is happening semi-slowly.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll
and
also
so-
tell you what my opening gambit is, so you can decide when you want us to hold initiative, and that's that I'm gonna put my knife against the mannequin's throat and tell them to stop moving, or I'll give it to her.
Okay.
This is an empty threat. I would never harm a harmless mannequin.
Oh, that's
But on
awesome.
the off chance that one of these wooden soldiers is in love with this mannequin, I just figure it's worth a.
I love it.
try.
Okay,
Good gambit.
Colby, I'll say you go after they make their moves.
That's fine.
The rest of y'all.
I just wanted to tell you what the play was so that you
Yep.
can decide how it fits in.
Okay, so Handler and Marjoram, what are your mice up to?
So are they like hostile? Are they coming at us, or are they just
Yeah,
flailing
yeah,
their
yeah.
guns
So,
back?
sorry, I didn't describe that all the way, but yeah, they are definitely hostile.
I think open the door to the next room and see head in there.
Awesome. So you open the door and just dip into the other room.
Mhm.
We'll come back to what you see on that side of the door. Colin, what does Marjoram and or Handler and Gypsum do?
Jimson's gonna attack. Like he'll be the first to attack because he's kind of he's just that kind of guy. And then Handler's gonna attack attack the same target basically.
Okay, awesome. So Handler, your damage die is. Do you have a D8? Is that correct?
2d6. I've got 2 weapons.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
roll the 2d6 and then roll the d10 plus 2. And you said you're going after the same target, so we'll take the highest number out of all those.
Yeah. So double 6 on the 2d6.
Let's go.
And then 4 plus 2 is 6 for
So
for Jimson.
yeah, so we'll say puppet number one. Puppet number one takes 6 damage, which drops it to strength saving mode, and it has to roll a d20. And it rolls a 13, which is its strength. So it is still up. Does Basil do anything other than stay behind the shield?
I think Basil's just covering with the shield.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so puppet number one that just took some damage from Gibson, and Handler is going to swing his sword in your direction, and he swings and hits for 2 points of damage. Now, are you guys attacking and then jumping back behind Basil's shield? What's the play on that?
Yeah, I think Handler would absolutely he'll attack and then kind of fall back, and
Yep.
he'll want to go to a position of good defense.
Okay.
But Jimson's going to stay there.
Okay, awesome. So then he's going to hit Jimson for 2.
Okay.
Awesome. Puppet number 2 turns around and sees Colby with a knife to the mannequin's throat and starts making his way in that direction and swings the sword. Tony, could you roll for me just a D6 real quick? On a 1, 2, or a 3, he hits you. On a 4, 5, or 6, he hits the mannequin.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, this sword just crashes into the mannequin, breaking the mannequin. There was no love interest.
Damn it.
Shoot the hostage.
It was a
Yeah.
good try.
Puppet number 3 comes up and just tries to bang on the shield, but it is not able to deal damage beyond that very large shield.
Mhm.
So that takes us to Colby.
There's no chivalry anymore. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take a step back and shoot him with my bow. I'm gonna shoot him in the foot, trying to stick the foot to the ground so that I can
Okay.
move further away.
I love it.
That is 7 damage.
Oh, sick. Okay. He needs to make a strength save, and he rolled a 15. So he is critically damaged. Your arrow stuck through his wooden foot, pinned it to the ground. He like falls down, and is unresponsive. Let's jump to Marjoram. What Marjoram sees
Mhm.
in the next room, and then we'll jump back over to the combat. What you see when you enter this room is it is very much a scale model of a bathroom, and there's a bathtub in the room, and in the bathtub are two adventurers who very surprisingly look at you and have no clue like where you've come from, and they say, what's going?"
Evil puppets, guys. Look, come on, let's go.
So they kind of like scurry to their feet, and they're like, yeah, about that. That's why we're in here. Have you guys defeated them? And like they kind of like
We
lean
are
forward.
working on it. I guess. I don't know. They are.
Yeah. And
A flaming toy soldier wanders behind the open door at that moment.
they are.
They're not gonna get kill themselves. So let's get
Yeah,
on with
yeah.
it.
Their disposition is very much. They'd rather you dispose of these so that they can get out of here with what they found. And they very clearly have a large leather sack of something.
Less
Uh,
adventurers and more burglars.
Yeah, more so. Let's jump back. Actually, give them a will save. Let's see what their will is.
What is an adventure but a loud burglar?
Yeah, exactly. Mark, why don't you roll 2d6 for their morale real quick to see how they react?
That is a 6 and a 3.
Okay, yeah. So they actually are semi helpful. One of them says, "Flack, we can do this. We can do this," and the other one says, "Sack, no, we can't." And Flack stays there holding his leather pouch, whereas Sack pulls out his sword and says, "Okay, let's do this thing." And he joins Marjoram at the door. Which brings us back to the top of the initiative. Handler, or Colin, yeah, what does Handler and Gypsum do?
So there's 2 toy soldiers still up.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll continue to attack the one that we previously damaged.
Okay, awesome.
Right. So that is a double 3 or 2 3s for Handler, and then a 7 plus 2 is 9 for Jimson.
Yeah. So he'll make a strength save, trying to get under 5, and that is a 7. So yeah, no, he fails. So Jimson, like with this Exacto spear, just kind of like just pins this thing down and ends it. Not necessarily fulfilling the bloodlust, as there is no blood in this wood, but has dispatched of puppet number 1. What does Marjoram do, Mark? Does he come jumping into the room?
Yeah. Let's get that garbage hook and see if we can pull some wooden legs out from under them.
Awesome.
Let me roll some dice. Where's my dice? Tell me what I'm rolling again.
D10 for the trash hook. Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Just
that is a big old one. That's a big old one.
Oh, okay. They don't have any armor though, so it does deal some damage. And he needs to make a strength save of 13. That's an 11. So yeah, he is still up. But I'll let you control our friend Sack, who has a D6 needle sword.
Hey, nice needle. That does 6, way better than the hook.
Yeah. Okay. And that is a failed strength save. So puppet number 2 is now down as well.
See, buddy, no reason to hide in a bathtub. You got this.
The webs at this point, they kind of glow green, and now you can all definitely see they glow green, and they all just like retract into the ceiling and they disappear.
Do they take the puppets with them?
No. They detached from the puppets.
Well, that was a thing that happened.
Guys, this is Sack. who is not holding a bag for some reason, but his friend back there is.
And then Black pops his head around. He's like, "Are they gone?"
They are.
I mean, they're technically still here, but they're.
He like sees him and he like shudders just a little bit.
Oh.
I think they probably begin to just like smolder down at this point because they are still on fire.
Mhm.
We've kind of addressed their brutish ways. Unfortunately, a moment too late. I was panicking on the ground. Uh, Basil said y'all might need some help.
Who's Basil?
The guy with the lid.
the weirdo from the B&B. Yeah. They kind of look at Basil and they're like, where's Tack? Did he become one of your gods? Is that
Mhm,
They
yeah,
attempted to turn him into a bat, and then he
he flew
drowned.
away, and then yep, okay, yep.
they're like so disappointed that they didn't stop their friend, but also they have like just some disdain towards Basil. But they do say, well, I guess we did need help. We didn't know we were needing it, but we did. What brings you here? Are you like a search and rescue party?
Yeah, we kind of saved your lives, so
We're just
Yeah.
a local group of dungeon moms.
just looking after little lost mice.
Oh, that's they look at you and they say, I don't see the red ribbons of the Sisterhood of the Tomb Keepers on you. You said you're dungeon mothers?
Yeah, we're kind of freelance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
dungeon
is-
mothers.
This is more of an
Okay.
informal group that gets together,
Oh,
on a regular basis.
Well, if that's cool. Do you treasure hunt? Have you found anything fun? I'd love to.
I feel like we just did.
Like they look at each other like, oh, yeah, payment. They say, well, you can have whatever in the bag. And then you like look and like one of them very clearly, their tunic is not being held up by a belt. It's being held up by a small golden bracelet. Very much so worth more than what may be in the bag, but they're offering you the bag.
Jimson holds up the pickaxe that he found. I found this pickaxe. It's gold.
How big is the bag?
I mean, it's like a hefty size.
I take it and I like open it wide and I like look in it, right?
Yep.
And then I just stick it over the the one who has moved the, and then when I pull it back, I just pull that bracelet.
That's awesome. The sack itself is full of 482 pips. So upon receiving it and attempting to put it, it would spill.
If it's got 482 pips in it, I don't do that. I feel the that. That's fine. You can have the gold bracelet.
Cool. They look at you and they say, well, if you were able to clear those, we're just going to go back down the stairs and make our way out. We have no other reason. And then he like hits him on the arm. He says, I think there's more upstairs. And then the other one says, I'm not going any deeper in this home.
I mean, technically the stairs isn't any deeper. It's up.
Mhm.
They kind of look back and forth. Roll 2d6 for me, Tony. Let's see how helpful they want to be.
Roll 2 1s.
Yeah, technically that they are hostile towards you. We'll narratively say that doesn't fit.
Yeah,
But they're like,
you're welcome to be.
yeah. They more have.
They get real passive aggressive.
They're like y'all have fun, but screw you and thank you, as they are just like kind of pushing their way past you to leave. They're like, we don't want any more of this craziness.
You said so. We're near the exits.
You are on the second floor, so Yeah. Oh. In this room. Yeah. There is the doorway that just leads
Oh,
back
I
out to the
thought they were
staircase.
saying that they were heading out.
Yeah. No. They're gonna go back down the stairs and then out either through the front door or if they have another way.
Mhm.
I'll ask after them. Say, chaps, do you know anything about this magic? What I assume is a spider up above us.
One of them turns back and says, "Somebody called it Hilda once. Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be like a spider. I was not prepared for this devilry and magic."
Hmm. Oh, before they go to, I'll ask where they found the treasure that they managed to find, like the bracelet and gold, or the pips.
Yeah, so they found the bracelet in the bathroom, which was a lucky hiding place for them. The pips they had found scattered around the living room on the first floor. And
So
you would
there's
be able to, and they're in a good enough mood because you saved their lives that they went straight up the stairs, and this was the first door they came in when the mannequins came to life. The mannequins came to life when they had got on the other side of them and attempted to open the bathroom door. That's when they jumped up and they just barricaded themselves in. And they've been in for a couple days.
So there's still more rooms to explore in the house before going up to the next floor as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's at least one door that you had seen.
Cool. Yeah, should we check that out and then decide if we want to brave the spider?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. As you go out the hallway and open that door, it is a bedroom complete with wooden bed with just like really ornate bedposts. The room is filled with webs. So many webs that even if they weren't magical, like cutting through them would almost be impossible. Yeah.
Or is there anywhere where like a spider or potentially a spider or anything would be hiding within the webs? Like, does it obscure vision at all?
Yeah, as you like put a torch in the room, it doesn't look like there's any like burrow or tunnel amidst the webs. It just seems like this room is completely, it's like a bungee cord maze of just webs and stickiness.
I don't like that room.
Yeah.
I would say there's probably, there's probably also, we'll just add this because it would make sense. But like the skeletal remains of a long past adventure of some kind.
On the bed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just tangled amidst the webs above the bed.
Well, I mean, we can poke around here a little bit more if y'all want to.
Does it look like that adventure had anything of interest on him from where we're standing?
From where you're standing, no, and it looks like it had been so long in ages past, like the amount of decay. Anything that wasn't like precious metal probably would have deteriorated as well, and there's no glint or shine anywhere.
And no like leather or kind of any kind of carrying bag or
Yeah.
No.
just food for the spider.
And I'd say let's just keep trying to go up if we want to deal with this spider.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As you make your way up to the next landing, there is no longer a staircase when you get to this landing, but there is a very solid ceiling across. The hallway kind of makes an L, and there is a doorway to the left. And then if you turn and go down the hallway, there's going to be a doorway at the end of the hallway from the stairs.
I guess we head down to that door.
Door at the end of the hallway or door just to the left of the stairs?
Mm.
Door just to the left of the stairs.
Is that where the thinking of like orientation, would that be above the room that had the marionettes in it?
No, the one to the left would be directly above the spiderweb bedroom.
The other
Okay.
bedroom. Let's check out that one first.
Yeah.
See if there's less. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you open up the door to this, the bedroom, it is also a bedroom, but there are no webs. The layout is identical to the room that's directly below it. There is that bed, and in the bed is a very large, oversized, like ornately like decorated silver spoon, just
Mm.
laying on the bed.
Like silver or silver colored.
Silver. Very, very expensive.
And is there
So would
anything
that
else
be
in
like
the room?
There's like a little nightstand in the same place there was a nightstand in the previous room as well. And yeah,
would the spoon be like the size of a mouse, like that kind of a size?
it would take 2 item slots, but yeah,
Hmm.
roughly the size of a mouse. You could probably use it as like a bludgeoning weapon of some kind, or sell it in the market for 3,000 pips.
I think I would like to grab that spoon. I'm gonna have to leave something behind, but
Okay, as you take your first step into the room, I'll say what you're able to like feel on your foot is there's like a very thick layer of dust
Mhm.
and a little bit of give under your first step. Would you make a dexterity save?
I would. I might. That is a 4. That will do it.
Okay. You are able to make your way into the room, and the ground almost has like a trampoline-esque kind of like bend to it. And you realize as you look down, it's not dust, but it's sawdust. And as you kind of like shuffle your foot along, you're kicking the dust and you're realizing you're actually walking on a web that has been
No.
perfectly covered in dust to look like a wooden floor.
Mhm.
That if one wrong step, you could fall right through into this webbed
Mhm.
room beneath. But you saved on your dex, so you're able to like tightrope your way across to the bed, and the bed is the only part of the room that is on solid ground.
Cool. Yeah.
Marjoram?
Yeah, this is a spider web. Guys, don't come in.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was giving some wobble underneath you.
Yeah, it's a little wobbly, but I think I got this. I think I got it. Gingerly grab the spoon.
Yeah.
I think I need to leave.
Marjoram, I'm just gonna point this out. This sawdust is making the web pretty not sticky.
Yeah,
I mean, you
maybe
could
that's
could just
good.
try to ride this whole thing down if you wanted to.
I feel like I can make it back. I
You
feel
think
like I
so?
can make it back
All
with
right.
this.
Yeah, and you could kind of follow your same path that you had gone. But yeah, you have a large silver spoon worth 3,000 pips.
Woo. And I think I'm
Nice.
going to place the plague rat lieutenant robes on the bed where the spoon was.
There you go. There you go. Very
Little-
nice. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, should we investigate the spider room potentially?
Yeah.
So as you make your way down the hallway, again, you open the door, and the bedroom that you find yourself entering into is very clearly set up as though it was like some sort of like nanny's quarters, and there is it's completely cleared out except for some small like there's like within the dollhouse there is a scale model of a dollhouse and some like scale model toys kind of floating around. It was like a nanny's room and a playroom, but in the middle of this room, there is the skeletal remains of a long dead snake. Very, very large coiled skeletal structure, and it is attached to the walls by webs. And at the other end of that room, there is, on the other side of the coiled serpent, is a doorway that has been left open just enough that from your vantage point, you are able to see several gemstones and some gold on the other side.
What's the angle of the head towards the door of this coiled snake right now?
I would say poised and pointed.
Like the mouth is pointed at the door.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hung from with the webs like the mannequins were.
Yeah. It's like coiled but like hanging amidst the webs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like it's flammable.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's hard. I mean, you can burn bones, but it just takes a bit.
It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder.
You want to get them in there when the fire's nice and hot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you said this was a plastic dollhouse, not a wooden one.
Correct.
Right? So hard to burn.
Is the mouth of the snake open or closed? Or
currently closed, yeah.
And is this a fanged snake?
Yes. Yeah. You'd be able to see that it definitely has fangs. Upon opening the door just to like peer in there, no movement whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the door opened with a crack, showing obvious like bait into the other room.
That would be a good deduction.
Who would fall for obvious bait like that?
Hazelwood.
How is there a piece of loose cobweb nearby?
No.
No.
Not well. Potentially, yeah. There might be some hanging from the ceiling.
No, that's perfect. Like, I mean, but like with a little bit of give to it.
Yeah.
Cool. About how long?
3 or 4 inches.
How many inches away is the snake's head?
From that vantage point, probably 8 inches.
Okay.
8 or 9 inches.
Cool. I'm gonna take a little bit of rope and attach it to that loose cobweb.
Okay.
I'm gonna attach the other end to an arrow. And then I'm gonna try to shoot an arrow through a slot in the skull. Just to penetrate into the ground or the wall behind it, whichever one is most convenient. But essentially, I wanna loop a rope through this snake's skull head.
I love it.
Is the goal.
Yeah, that's clever. I like it. You are able to get off with some ease a shot as you release it, and it goes through one of the eye sockets down through like the lower bit of the jaw, and it pins to the ground, and now there's like a suspended rope staking through the skull of the serpent.
That's all I got, y'all. I don't.
Yeah, and upon that shot, and even the connection going through, the snake does not move even a bit.
How thick are the walls? Like they're plastic, right?
Yeah. I mean, a couple millimeters.
So pretty
I was thinking
thick.
if we needed to, we could potentially burn a hole in the side of the wall, and then access the room that way. Like kind of go on the outside of the dollhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that part of the dollhouse you would know from what you saw is encased and buried in the mud. In the mud side. So you could potentially get to it from the front face. But you're at this point you're on the 3rd story. And so you'd have to get up to it somehow. But yeah, I mean it's definitely doable.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
I like it. Okay. So snake pinned in. You guys work your way back out through the house. When you get to the bottom of the stairway, kind of the door that you had, the door leading deeper into the house on the first level from the living room, it is open at this point. And your assumption would be this is where Flack and Sack exited. But you scurry your way back out through the fireplace. How are you going to scale? You look at the backside of this house, you can kind of pinpoint, okay, I'm pretty sure that's that wall. What's your game plan to scale up the 3 stories?
I think we could just like chunk holes or like kind of climb it that way.
Yep.
Because
Perfect.
Plastic, you just gotta.
Yeah. Perfect. You guys are able to do it. And after a few moments, and then that kind of nasty, plasticky, burny smell, some black smoke, you burn a hole through into what, as you peer in and you look, it looks like the nursery of what would be a house. There's a small toy crib with a small toy baby in it, a small rocking chair, but also in that room there is a whole pile of like plastic costume jewelry, and there is also in the ceiling there is very clearly like a attic hatch. But yeah, it looks like a bunch of like toy and costume jewelry laying over there of gold, silver.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the market for costume jewelry in the Tomb of a Thousand Doors?
No, that's a great question. As you're like looking, like, is this valuable or not? Plastic. You do notice that one of them, amidst the toy jewelry, is a diamond wedding ring. Which could very nicely be worn as a crown, and also would fetch you quite a few pips on the market.
I'll put it on.
Nice. Are you wearing it like a crown?
Yeah. Is this too ostentatious?
No, it's perfect.
No, it suits you. Yeah.
You now hear at this point on the other side of the closed door the rattling of bones and like the shaking back and forth. And then you hear up from the ceiling, you hear like that as something is scurrying around upstairs that you haven't heard before, and is letting out like hisses of anger, as though its plan has been usurped in some way.
That's wonderful. I love it. I love it. Usurp.
Would it make sense to go back out and continue our climb and like burn a hole through the roof and see what's in the attic from up top?
Oh, go up one more. Go up even higher outside.
Yeah, instead of trying to push through a trapdoor.
I'm going to assume it's not a quick process to burn through the wall.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, but I think that's a clever idea.
Question too: how many uses of the spell do you have left?
My next question was going to be: do I need to be able to see where I cast the spell, or can I just cast the spell on the other on the 3 millimeters on the other side of that hatch?
It does specify at a point in which you can see.
That's great. I love that. Hey, Margie, would you just pop that? Just that hatch up just a little bit.
Just a little bit there.
As you pop the hatch, you hear just like the ever so slight like whisper, like, "Join me," and then I'll let you do what you want to do.
I say, take a bath, dear.
I think you have 2 usages. Is that correct?
I do have 2 usages, a 1 and a 2.
Okay, that's definitely enough water still to fill.
We gotta move. This is a lot of water that's gonna come.
So as you like close the door quickly, like water begins to flood, and you can hear this like spider like moving around, like just like thrashing up there. As you make your way out onto the side of this building, and you're just kind of like hanging there by your daggers and whatnot. The ABS plastic begins to like bulge just a little bit, as you can hear like the pressure and the snapping of what was the attic hatch break, water like rushing down into the room. If one of you like peeks your head and you can see this large spider just like tossing and turning in the water, as the water is like now filling that room and begins to like spurt out the hole that you had burned in the side of it. At which point a spider body like gets lodged in there. Like I'm gonna say, like when a spider does its whole thing where it like puts its legs forward. So the thorax and stuff comes out first before the legs and the face. And it's so large it plugs the hole.
Yeah, I have to say, is there any reason to not get some stabs in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are able to dispatch of this spider, and one of you deals. Let's say it's gypsum, just so they can get their blood craze. This X-Acto knife slices through this spider's abdomen. We
all know how the rules have been working. Gypsum was going to get this no matter what.
A bright flash of like that same green that was the glow on the webs bursts as just the spider. You hear this almost ghostly cry of just like no. Oh, and then the spider's carcass washes out as water just continues to pour out of this room for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Upon which you walk in or you peer back in, and there is no webs, furniture topsy-turvy. But yeah.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Dispatch Tilda.
Yeah, definitely dispatch Tilda. Another thing that had fallen from the attic into this room but was heavy enough that it didn't get swept away by the water is a large leather bag full of pips.
Nice.
783 pips to be exact.
Wow, Sack would be so jealous. So would Flack.
I know. Should have stuck around.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess this was pretty good treasure.
Yeah, I think between
my sparkling crap.
Yeah, which is worth 1,000 pips. The golden spoon was 3,000.
1,500 for the pickaxe.
Yep, 1,500 for the pickaxe. Right. And then 482 pips in a bag, plus 783 pips in a bag. If this were an ongoing Mouse Ritter campaign, y'all would level up moving into the next session, because this is a lot of treasure. So speaking of which, Tony, I mean, I've got 1,000 doors, and we've only hit like 90, 8 or 9 of them. But I can kick it back over to you. That's what I had.
No, I think that's great. What let's do our reaction roll, because I don't think we really did one last time. Reaction roll is a live stream inside of a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game and talk about the game that we just played. Today, we are playing Mouse Ritter, but we're specifically playing around in the Tomb of 1,000 Doors. It was a 2-part series that we did with Matt, the project manager and editorial voice and community organizer who helped put the entire project together. Matt, for folks who are just joining us or just catching this part, tell us the elevator pitch for Tomb of 1,000 Doors.
Yeah, so Tomb of 1,000 Doors is the classic mega dungeon, non-Euclidean craziness happening all over the place. But it is a community created masterpiece, I would say. We've had over 40 different creators contribute, all their flavors, all their styles brought together into a cohesive Mouse Ritter mega dungeon, truly an OSR mega dungeon. You can use this for any system with very easy compatibilities. And so, yeah, it's who doesn't like a mega dungeon where you can go explore, get rich, or die trying.
Look, I love anything that gives me an excuse to Google snake with fangs skull. That's always an enjoyable thing. To check out. I had an absolute blast getting to play Lex Little Time. Let's hear from the other players and a little bit more about what their experience is like. Mark, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what it was like to explore the Tomb of 1,000 Doors.
Yeah, I'm Mark. I've played Mouse Ritter a fair bunch, run it a bunch. I make my own games and sell them on itch and whatnot. I had a blast. I like a lot of the style games. It's really fun to explore the possibility space with what we have and what we can do instead of just like go to the next room, fight the next thing, go to the next room, fight the next thing. Definitely climbing up the outside of a thing and burning our way in. Super fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All sorts of great ways to mess with things. Meeting different interesting mice and not necessarily killing them is also a good fun. Yeah, just and y'all are always a hoot to play with. So it's a great
Awesome.
time.
Awesome. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask Matt?
Do you have a favorite area of the dungeon?
Oh yeah, I do. So one of the contributors to the original game jam submitted 7 different areas, 4 of which were connected by a theme. They're called the Shrines of the Serpents. And there are 4 different serpent gods that exist within this dungeon: the Shadow Serpent, the Bone Serpent, the Electric Serpent, and the Water Serpent. And so there's a snake cult that exists as a faction. And so there's different priests that like take care of these different shrines, and each one of the shrines is less of like an encounter, like a combat encounter, but they're like puzzle dungeons. And so we've like strategically placed them in different places that connect like really wild parts of the dungeon. So you could go from like this really cool like almost medieval cathedral, then you have to go through a puzzle dungeon to then get into this like tropical subterranean wasteland. Like so it's really cool. So they're like strategically placed puzzles, and
Nice.
so Antonio Butch did those, and they are super cool. So if you like snakes and you like puzzles, you will love those parts of the dungeon.
I
It's a
like
very
those
specific
things.
cross section of folks.
Right? Exactly.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Where are my snake puzzle people? Yeah.
Classically underserved demographic. Awesome. Colin, how about you? Tell people who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play the Tomb of 1,000 Doors.
Yeah, I'm Colin Lasware, by Odin's Beard RPG. I make games like Runecairn, We Deal in Lead. I've made Mouse Ritter Dungeons before, but I've never. It's my first time, well, second time now playing in Mouse Ritter, so that was a lot of fun. I got decent experience with Into the Odd and Into the Odd Descendants, like Cairn and Mouse Ritter. So it was really cool playing from that perspective. I think, yeah, it's been a long time since I've been able to actually play in a game, just because I've been busy designing my own stuff and you know, but it was a lot of fun. I think I had a question, like, doing this project, Matt, has it changed your approach or changed how you look at Mouse Ritter or how you would approach it in the future?
Yeah, I think maybe less so how I would approach Mouse Ritter specifically, but more like information design and layout. I've always really gravitated towards and liked layout. But what's been fun about this project is I've taken like roughly 35 different styles of layout and design and said, okay, how do I make that have one voice? And so really doing like a crash course on like information design and layout. It's been a really fun practice for me because for the last 3 years of creating my own stuff, I never had training on that, and so it was just kind of piecemealing it, making it, trying to copy what I thought looked good. But then as we were starting to do this, the Explorer's Design course by Clayton was really starting to come out in that group. So I really was like full on. I want to learn from the best, and so really started studying and buying games not to play but just to like learn how people do stuff. And so I've tried to distill that and take like the best practices. Like I used to, for layout, for even some of my big stuff, like my previous Kickstarter, I typed the whole thing up in Microsoft Word, laid it out in Word, exported it as a PDF, then imported the PDF into Photoshop, did all my graphic design in Photoshop, re-exported it as a PDF just to then take that PDF into InDesign so I could do that. It was terrible workflow, terrible workflow. So then I just got Affinity Publisher and can do it all, which
Nice.
which is super awesome. And so I've learned tricks that I've seen people post about, and I just was like, I don't even know what that means. Well, now I do, and it's super helpful. So it's really grown me as a creator, and as a designer. And so yeah, it's been a really fun process in that.
Cool.
Awesome. Cool. I had a blast. The whole project has been great so far, and I was just about to say we're at 100 backers. We're actually at 801 backers now,
Nice,
which has been
nice.
absolutely crazy, more than twice any project I've ever worked on before. Matt, I know this has been your largest project. I want to ask you, I got two questions for you in that regard. Oh, about play. I mean, I've had a blast. I love it. I love Mouse Rider. I love that we all rolled up people with the the maternal side. That was hilarious. Two questions I want to ask are, one, we've got a lot of questions because people are like, oh, you've got Lilliputians in this, or oh, there's a fairy picture. How do I play a fairy?
Yeah.
We get a lot of those type of questions. There's like you have done a lot of great work with your own other content and third-party content, kind of bringing that into the dungeon. For folks who are interested in that stuff, not just a way to plug your own stuff, but like, what are some things that, like, tell us a little bit about playing a fairy or playing a Lilliputian within the dungeon. How does that change things? What does that look like? What does that do?
Yeah, so it's more of just a reflavoring and like reskinning. So like mechanically nothing will change, because a fairy in the Mouse Ritter world is still the same size as a mouse, and a Lilliputian is the same size as a mouse. A fairy can fly, so that can be extremely beneficial, and some game masters might be like, nope. And the thing that Lilliputians bring over is the setting I had made for Lilliputian Adventure on the Open Seas, my Mouse Ritter and Karen Hack, is it's kind of like that 17th century nautical vibe. And so there's like flintlock weapons in there. And so there's whole sorts of mechanics for flintlock weapons. And so if you're going to use Lilliputian as a rule set to do Tomb of a Thousand Doors, you'll add black powder, which is always fun. Mechanically, the way we designed the firearms and Lilliputian to work, Isaac Williams, who designed Mouse Ritter, actually came up with the system for firearms, and had done it in a Mouse Ritter like small supplement. They introduced Lilliputians into Mouse Ritter, which was then the impetus for me to make my game. So they're very balanced. I mean, they are more overpowered than a sword. But they also can,
like a real gun and a sword, you mean?
Sure, exactly, yeah. But they can also misfire, and so it's a cool, like with the firearms, you always roll double the dice, and if you roll doubles, so if you roll 2 6s, you're not dealing 12 damage. Your gun misfires, and you mark usage and mark your ammunition. And so it has its strengths, but its drawbacks as well, which is really cool.
But if you've ever wanted to play a mouse with a gun, you can.
Oh yeah, definitely could. But yeah, that's the thing with Tomb of a Thousand Doors. It is a standalone, but for people who are really familiar with like the Mouse Ritter third-party community, there's going to be an appendix in the back, because we reference. That was one of the things we really wanted to do with this project, was not only like highlight and spotlight the project itself, but there's a plethora at this point, like 670 different Mouse Ritter third-party community things. We reference a bunch of those throughout. You don't need them. But if you want to expand the lore, build a campaign, like we have magic items from the Tales from Moonshore, which is a big campaign setting for Mouse Ritter. My own Burn Pile campaign is referenced heavily throughout, and then even gives like, get this supplement to play fairies, get this supplement to do that, and all of those are free on itch. If you want the physical copy, we're actually going to, I think, offer the physical copies during the backer kit of the campaign, which will be cool to get those reprinted. But yeah, so there's all sorts of like alternate rules that you can add to it, that don't necessarily make the experience better. They just augment it in different ways for different for different play styles.
Awesome. And I know there's a lot of people. The other question that people have asked, which I won't ask you, I'll just tell people, and I'm gonna pop up on the screen next to us right now. If you're like, hey, this is all great, but I don't have a copy of Mouse Ritter, and you're just like thinking, man, where do I go to get a copy of Mouse Ritter? The answer is you go to Exalted Funeral, or you go to Games Omnivorous, because they just got copies back in stock yesterday. So
Yeah.
you can get the full box set, all the great things that come with that, the Honey in the Rafters adventure, all of those wonderful things. You can go get over at Exalted Funeral if you're in the US. If you're in EU, UK, hit up Games Omnivorous. It'll make its way out to other things. We may be able to do some offering of that in the backer kit of things. We may not. It just depends on what's going to be in stock whenever things ship, because this is, I can't remember if is this a second or third reprint of the box set at this point? Third reprint of the box set. So it does go. But like, you know,
I grabbed mine this morning.
Yeah. I think you can obviously see
this is going to be the one that like lands for a while. But that's what they said about the previous one. I think it's sold out in 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, but I think it was also like, okay, we got enough. Okay, let's get a few thousand more. Okay, let's get
exactly
10,000 plus more
for
in
sure,
stock
for
also
sure.
too. So it's such a really great game, such a great hack of Karen. There's a lot of great things. I also guess that since there's guns in the Tomb of a Thousand Doors, that does mean you can deal in lead theoretically also too. So since Colin is here, tell us a little bit about how Tomb of a Thousand Doors and We Deal in Lead hook up with each other.
Well, so We Deal in Lead's a hack of Cairn and a descendant of Into the Odd. So it shares a lot of the same rules and mechanics. And We Deal in Lead was built from the ground up to be compatible with other Into the Odd systems, because We Deal in Lead's a world where you play gunslingers who could travel to different worlds and at different times. You could feasibly walk through a slip door in the Drifted world and We Deal in Lead and end up in the Tomb of 1,000 Doors, and like run it as is, you know, with like life size or like human size mouse people, and that sort of thing. Or you could have it be that the gunslingers shrink down to Lilliputian size, and their guns are still as effective. So yeah, it's there's a lot of cool possibilities if you want to play gunslingers in a mega dungeon. And absolutely, it's a good way to do it.
I was just gonna say, and if I can tag on that, Colin had run a We Deal in Lead game jam about a year ago, and I may or may not have made a Mouse Ritter crossover called We Deal in Pips, and literally it's just the Mouse Ritter character sheet style with the item chits, but for We Deal in Lead, so you could actually take your We Deal in Lead campaign character and play Mouse Ritter with them with the item chit like character sheet as well, which is fun. I love We Deal in Lead.
I'm super excited. I mean, and you can go check it out on the campaign page. A bunch of different Descendants of the Odd kind of games that you can connect to through Tomb of a Thousand Doors. People have asked a lot of questions about, will it convert to this? Does it convert to that? How easy it is? And it really kind of depends on your willingness to do math or how comfortable you are with your system. For me, it's really easy to pick up any dungeon in Tomb of a Thousand Doors and be like, I can run this in a D20 plus system, or I can run this in you know, a percentile system, any of those types of things. The system is so narrative in its writing. And since so much of the mechanics deal with what's on your character sheet, not what's in the dungeon, it's really easy to just kind of pick up and play as long as you know the math of your system pretty well in your head. So it converts really easily to the game that you want to play. Super excited about it. We've got some great things continuing to come for it. Maybe Matt will keep on updating everybody every other day, at least. Maybe we'll slow down a little bit. We also did add a new unlimited tier level. This is going to sound like a big number, and it is, but it's got a lot of great stuff in it. $150, which gets you pretty much every add-on and stretch goal that is going to be produced by the folks at Longpack who are doing our manufacturing. So that's the book, the GM screen, the maps, the chits, all the different physical stretch goals that we've added on. The only thing it doesn't include at default is going to be the cassette tape, the beard balm, and the lip balm, because all those are getting made either in the US or in the UK and then shipped to a central thing. But you will be able to add those on to your pledge post campaign. We wanted to make it as easy as possible for folks to be able to jump in and get all that stuff. JP Cooper's going to go ahead and upgrade. Also keep an eye out. We do have the $125 level, which includes the custom things. Some people asked, I think Matt and I did not expect people to just want all the things. Like just everybody is going to want everything. And so we definitely underestimated that. But the other big thing about limiting those is Matt is physically curating a set of goods that go in that $125 level, which is the reason we limited them, because Matt doesn't have the ability to curate an unlimited amount of them. But yeah, it's going to be a little treasure chest filled with distinct items
All
and unique
sorts of-
cards. Yeah, for your character.
Nice.
So we only did, I guess we're doing 27 of those, and Matt might make some for the team also too. But it's a very limited thing, and that's why those are limited. The only reason those are limited, if you want everything, you can grab those at the $150 level also too. And so, excellent. I had an absolute blast playing. Hopefully we hit that high level stretch goal, which is going to let us come back and do a longer series.
Yeah,
We'll have
yeah.
Matt running again, but we'll cast out for that. It'll be a little bit more produced than our normal series because we just want to make sure that we are getting the best quality possible for those kind of longer stream arcs that we're going to start doing here in 2024, and super excited to have Tomb of 1,000 Doors be one of those. You can head over to ttrpg.link/1000 doors KS to check that out. We've got a bunch of great things happening on stream over the next couple of weeks. If you want to support everything we do here at Plus One and don't want to go support Tomb of 1,000 Doors, or already did more than likely, head over to RPG Zine Club. Check it out. We're getting ready to send out this month's zines, which is The Last Oath by Lucas Rolam and The Family Order by Megan Cross of Siren Song Games. One of those is a story game. The other is an adventure game. This is our first solo dungeon crawling adventure game in the adventure series. Lucas has made the heftiest zine we're releasing so far. 64 pages, 70 rooms that you can explore on your own in a kind of fighting fantasy AFF style dungeon crawl adventure that Lucas made. Absolutely phenomenal. Really excited about it. Family Order, you're playing as a family of magicians that can control the very shape of magic itself from generation to generation, and telling the story of how magic and that family evolve alongside each other. Check out all those and other great games over at RPG Zine Club. Help support this channel and emerging creators from around the globe. This has been a blast playing with all of you. We don't have a good way to end the stream, so at this point in time, we're all just going to wave at the camera until I take us offline. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see
See you
y'all.
later. Later. See you.